The magazine has been around since 1663 and has been adapted to digital platforms since the late 1990s. However, throughout the years of digitalizing the magazine, we have run into two processes of consumption, being physically or through the web. And I want to investigate how magazines are using these mediums to express themselves and the topics or subject matters they cover. Physical magazines are still excelling within the current market, with Entertainment Outlook and PwC Media reports showing an 80% consumption rate of physical magazines globally among magazine readers, showing that printed media is far from dead. However, due to the digitalization of media, magazines have been forced to become more creative and focus more on set subject matter and atmosphere. For example, I recently bought issue 1 of Wavezine The Out of Office, which is a newer 2023 released print magazine coming from the Italian collective Mazzeria Wave. Wavezine immediately sets itself apart from other magazines with its loud yet simplistic cover. The vibrant neon green gives off a rebellious, energetic, and in-your-face attitude, which sets the tone perfectly for the contents within. Wave mostly covers liberation, social media, and internet terminology. As soon as you skim through, Wave hits you with a variety of Y2K designs with flashy color palettes, big expressive fonts, and a mixture of sporadic layouts, colorful photography elements, and 2000s web graphics, creating a magazine which reflects on the old Y2K style and flips it into a more anti-culture and punk context. The focus on digital subject matter and old 2000s web graphics are strongly juxtaposed by the fact that this is a physical print, acting like a time capsule for graphical elements which were lost to time. Having this kind of magazine physically really lets the viewer feel immersed into the themes and atmosphere of the publication, and the weighty book furthers this due to being a tangible object the buyer owns, making you view the magazine not only as an entertaining book, but as a form of art that reflects on the time period and ideas it was made under. Meanwhile, digital magazines, and to a further extent, digital media, has become the standard for not only magazine readers but for the general public. This is due to how widely available the internet is, the lower cost due to not having to batch print magazines, and the free nature with most revenue of digital magazines coming from integrated ads that are baked into most news or article websites, rather than the reader spending anywhere from £5 to £20. Surprisingly, though, most online magazines don't fully capture the medium it's on, with most web magazines being just PDF files of print magazines or just articles about any news headline with maybe video embedding. However, while I was looking for interesting digital only magazines, I found a free digital magazine called The Economist. Information about its creators is seemingly non existent, and the website The Economist is hosted on has little to no information aside from the magazines being there for free download or paid to print. The Economist focuses on two main subjects, these being surveillance and AI generation, with the first four issues having AI generation and the latest two being photos taken by surveillance cameras. This magazine goes fully against most magazine design norms, giving the magazine an eerie and cluttered look, which normally would be a sign of bad design, but The Economist uses clutter and mess to further express how everything is surveillanced and the oversaturation of AI generated imagery. While The Economist doesn't use video animation or any assets that only web magazines can use, it uses its digital status to play more into the atmosphere and depiction of its digital assets, furthering its creepy, sci fi dystopian feel. After looking through both magazines, I feel like it's necessary to talk about the relationship digital and printed media share. Both the magazines I have chosen are wildly different, but both give interesting insight to how new magazines approach these two different mediums. As newer printed magazines are becoming more artsy and experimental in approach to stand out against other printed magazines and digital alternatives, the newer digital magazines are instead choosing to abandon traditional magazine design to further assert themselves as a worthy and memorable option, rather than remaining the scan-ins of magazines of the past, showcasing how digital and physical magazines are no longer trying to compete but rather separate themselves into their own unique media type.